And we are back. Welcome to Box Football. Welcome, guys, to another Champions League. Not only prediction, but analysis. So as you can see, Jack, as you can see, we kind of leveled up and tried something a little bit different. We have both teams out right now. I'm going to discuss how the game's going to win and loss. And big introduction: Man City versus Real Madrid. Yeah, we're going to run it back from last year. What a tie that was! The dramatics, the late goals. We're going to do it again, and both teams are in a different place to where they were last season. To a certain point, City were kind of going for a treble, and everything kind of fell. Um, Apart Real Madrid, they were kind of going for a treble. Now it looks like a double more or less in the Spanish Cup, and obviously in the Champions League. So both teams are looking for a great ending to the season. Manchester City are looking for their first one, while Real Madrid are looking for their 15th Champions League title, number 15, which is it's insane. It's insane. I
Mhm.
want you just deep like they have more than if you add like I don't know Barcelona and AC Milan, they still have more than both of them combined, and those two are a couple who won some of the most Champions League. This team just I think they've won as many Champions Leagues since the 2000s, or like I think it's seven compared to everybody else, which is just
I
ridiculous. Like
think what's insane is if you start bringing up the modern era conversation, because 15 since the very beginnings of the European Cup, you think, I mean, it's impressive, but it's not crazy. Like, if you bring it from from 2000 onwards,
it's
it's
ridiculous.
insane.
Right? And think about it,
It's domination.
Jack, and think about it. That remember from 2000 and like I think after they won 2002, they went through this like what 6 or 7 year mark where like they couldn't get it out of the last 16. And Jack, they still have more than everybody else. They went through a proper drought. Remember the obsession for La Decima. It's just Real Madrid, and we all know how great Manchester City is. But what a tie! Now, Jack, we've talked about where this game can be won and can be lost. And guys, as you can see, we have the teams out right there. Yes, there's granted a few players there who we're not sure if they're going to be fit. Luka Modric, who is fit, would start for Real Madrid. Another one there that could be questionable is Kevin De Bruyne. I'm not the rumors are saying, oh, he's right now he's not fit, but but I expect once it's game time, like he would have been there. Also, Militao is suspended. Um, Kanji probably would have played. So again, there is a lot of misses
Okay.
out there. Okay. I keep on, guys. If you watch the
You love
previous
getting that
video,
one wrong.
I just keep on getting both of them. It's just two light skinned brothers. Akanji's there, but um, let's see. First of all, where do you think this game can be won and can be lost?
I mean, first of all, I'm not trying to be too disrespectful to the Italian teams on the other side of the draw. This is the final, right? This is the final, and we get it twice, which I think is pretty cool. Um, whoever wins this, you'd imagine goes on to win the whole thing.
100%.
Tactically, I don't have much of a feel for this game. I felt like I had a little bit of a sense of what might happen in that Milan derby. This one, I really don't know. My breakdown for this one, James, is how are big players going to deal with big moments? Is Erling Haaland going to have big chances across both legs? Probably multiple big chances. Yeah. Is he going to score though? Right? Is Kevin De Bruyne going to find that pass that no one else apart from maybe Luka Modric can make on the pitch? Right? Is he going to make that pass? Will Karim Benzema take his opportunities when they inevitably come up? Will Vinicius Jr. get the better of Kyle Walker? Right?
Yeah.
To me, it's not really necessarily about, well, if they play this formation and if they isolate this area of the pitch, I don't think it's one of those games. These are the two best teams in Europe, in my view. This will be the highest quality football match that the 2022-23 season has to offer. And the difference makers are going to be the stars and whether they perform or not.
Um, Jack, again, to a certain point, Jack, a lot of the things you mentioned there is true. The one thing I'm going to give Manchester City credit for is that they're changing, Jack. And one thing I respect for them is that they're willing now to suffer. Before on the Pep Guardiola, for the past 2, 3 years, it was all about 90 minutes of control. We want to control the game. We want to control the ball. If we have the ball, the thing about the opposition won't hurt us. And the issue with it is that in the Premier League, yeah, in like league games, it's cool because the opposition don't have the quality. But when you give a team 30% of possession, 40% of possession to a certain point, the quality of a Real Madrid, yeah, they're going to hurt you. And the fact that Man City said, you know what? We can now have less of the ball and be more effective is so important in overall for them. They understand how to play 180 minutes of Champions League football. And that to me is a big difference. Now, let me look at how this game can be won and lost for both teams. And the one play I'm going to point out here, Jack, is this guy here, Vinicius Jr. in this battle
Yep.
here. Now,
Oof.
what would have happened if Ake was fit? Is probably Ake probably would have been playing. Kanji probably been playing there, and Ake would have played there. I think even if Ake was fit, I don't think he would have started because the pace of Vinicius Jr.
Right.
is frightening, and the guy who has been against some of the best fullbacks in the no, some best wingers in the world and have dealt with them very well is Carl Walker. I
Yeah.
do understand from the point of view of like, let's just say when Man City drop John Stones into the middle and then they want to go boom, boom, boom to a certain point. Guardiola isn't quite comfortable with having Walker in there, which I don't get because he does play at the back finger, but maybe it's just, but maybe it's just different. But the matchup has been a nightmare for a number of wingers. Not too many wingers want to play against someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and I guarantee second on that list for a lot of wingers is Kyle Walker. Probably first on that list. Jack, the pace is frightening, and he probably is the one that's going to me is going to be able to deal with Vinicius. But let's be honest, Jack, a lot of English fullbacks have struggled. Secondly, we're not
A lot of fullbacks generally have
generally,
struggled.
sorry, just generally. Vinicius
Yeah.
is possibly, Jack, I'm telling you, Real Madrid going to win this right now. I think he might be the Ballon d'Or winner for me because he's had an incredible year. Another big thing from last year is that if you remember, Real Madrid went for a 4-3-3 with what? Let's just say Rodrigo is Modric for a second, and let's
Right.
say Valverde played. Think about it. Valverde played in there. Valverde played in there, and basically, when Real Madrid didn't have the ball, he would pop in there to make a four. A
Hmm.
big thing now in Real Madrid's game is Rodrigo and what
Right.
he has brought to them. He is a guy that's almost forced his way, Jack, into this Real Madrid team overall. And before, it was a big, think about it, it was a front two of Benzema and Vinicius. Now, Jack, it's a front three. And to me, it's going to be interesting. Let's say when Manchester City are in possession, and let's just say we're going to push up Haaland, we're going to push up De Bruyne, Rodri in there, who's probably going to be sitting,
Right.
Gundogan, Grealish, and Bernardo Silva. It's going to be interesting how Manchester City deal with this because Real Madrid are frightening, you know, on the counter attack. You've seen that one of the thing about it, one of the best examples of a team who plays very similar to Manchester City is who? Barcelona. And
Right.
we've seen in the second leg in the Copa del Rey what Real Madrid were able to do. Think about it with all that space in behind. And now it's not for me. You can't hit Benzema and get him to play in like think about it to get him to play off the shoulder. But when Benzema has runners like Rodrigo going forward, like Vinicius, who's fighting on like to me on a counter attack, it's going to be interesting how Manchester City are going to deal with that. Now, the way that I see them dealing with that, and like the way that they dealt with that against Bayern Munich was very similar. They said, boom. They basically Jack had against Bayern Munich four centre backs playing in a back four, and they said, you know what? Let's take us on 1v1. Bayern Munich
Right.
are an incredible counter-attacking team. But in my eyes, the best counter-attacking team in the world today is Real Madrid. So that matchup to me is going to be interesting.
Who do you think steps forward if the ball goes into Benzema? Who do you think shuts him down and maybe just takes him out on a break? Is that going to be Diaz or Stones?
I think it looks I don't know how Man City do here. I'm gonna say
Stones.
Stones is to me. I'm gonna say Stones is going to be the bit more of aggressor. Another thing, Jack, I'm gonna mention is I don't think Guardiola says, you know what, Stones in possession, you do this.
You don't think that?
I, d- I, I don't think because I think he is going to be respectful enough to Real Madrid to say, you know what? Let me ask my centre back to be a bit disciplined. Because if that ball does turn over, Jack, to a certain point, let's just say he pops him in there and the ball does turn over, and Jack, it becomes a 3v3 with spacing behind. Granted, Kyle Walker is frightening, frightening
Right.
quick. I'm not sure if I like. I'm not sure if I like Manchester City's chances when it becomes a 3v3 in there. If I'm being truthfully honest, Jack.
Right.
So what I see Guardiola saying to centre backs is, guys, you know what, Stones, today, sit, sit, protect, let these guys take care of what they can, Jack.
The only other thing that kind of comes to mind is, you're asking, Rodrigo to do a lot, potentially in that recycling role, and I wonder if with the likes of Valverde, with the likes of Tchouaméni, are they going to be able to stop the recycling? Because James, one thing that obviously I think Carlo's going to know that City
Hmm.
like to do is who he likes to recycle the ball with,
Yeah,
and those are going to be defenders. It's going to be Rodrigo. So if Stones is more limited and then they can cut off Rodrigo, then Man City may not be able to recycle the ball. But saying that, they might not have a problem with that, especially at the Bernabeu, because think, James, what have we wanted from Haaland all year? We've wanted
running mad.
Dortmund with space Haaland, like we saw in the Arsenal game. That's exactly what he's going to get at the Bernabeu. That's exactly what he's going to get. He's going to get
Jack,
space to run at people.
do you know what it is? Is at the first game. So you're right. The first game is at the Bernabeu.
Yeah,
I see Real Madrid saying, "You have the ball, break us down."
yeah,
Because to a certain point, Jack,
man.
I think Real Madrid would, in my opinion, would be comfortable taking a 0-0 going to the Etihad.
Oh,
You
that's
might
so
think
outrageous, isn't it?
you might think I'm crazy, but this team on the counter attack, Jack, can really, really, really hurt teams. And Jack, there is no atmosphere that can phase this team. We've seen it at Anfield, 2-0 down. The crowd is roaring. They get it. Yeah. Barcelona, Jack. All right. They're 1-0 down. Yeah, against their arch rivals. They're roaring. They come back and win 4-0, Jack. This team, they know how to play the occasion. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. They know how to play the occasion. They know how to do it when it matters most. And I don't think it would be the worst result in the world if they, let's say, for instance, if they do go a 0-0, for instance, again, trailing would be a different story. And think about it, would be quite difficult. But I don't think Real Madrid overall would be that upset if it did go, let's just say 1-0. They got to go to the Etihad and win because I do think it's crazy to think, but this Real Jack, what have they not seen?
No, I know.
You know,
Hmm. You're right.
but let's just take it into Manchester City again, where to me where the game can be won, and the game can be won very very simple with this guy in here,
Yeah.
Erling. To me, Erling Haaland and what he can do on the ball. Granted, everybody is gonna contribute, but it's Jack. It's these two combination to be able to, play the ball into each other. That like to me is going to be vital. One run that everybody needs to be really, really mindful of, right? The Manchester City do so well, Jack, is let's just say right now, Bernardo Silva has the ball in there. He will look to play that ball, yeah, diagonally, and Jack, you're going to look for a straight run in behind for Kevin De Bruyne
And then that
boom,
gets
boom,
flashed
boom,
across the
and
box.
it's rather gets flashed across the box or a
Yeah.
little cut back there. That right
Yeah.
there to me is a pattern that I've seen from Manchester City on a number of occasions. Another player, Jack, I want to mention here that to me is going to play a big part, and he may potentially start. I'm going to take Bernardo Silva out for a second. Is this guy here? And his record in the Champions League overall and how effective he's been, Jack, over to me over the years. Bernardo Silva again, Jack. Bernardo Silva is very difficult to play against, and like you probably see him coming in behind. But let's just say if the game does get a little bit stretching, Camavinga, who is Jack, to be fair, the guy is unbelievable, and I
Yeah.
have so much love and respect for what this guy's able to do. I think he's so underrated. When you're talking about who's the best under 21s, Jack, he's to me, he's top five, top 10. He's taken over Chouameni. But does he want to see a 1v1 every single time with a player like Riyad Mahrez? That's my thing. I have Camavinga, to be fair, he was able to do well against Rafinha. He done really well against Rafinha, but Riyad Mahrez is a different ball game. And in Jack, the thing about it for me is that he isn't going to get any help. Vinny
No.
won't track back to help him. Vinny won't track back to double up because ultimately, Jack, Vinny's going to have this to worry about. And secondly, let's just say if Manchester City do want to go for it there, Vinny won't track back. So sometimes in football, you got to gain something to lose something. Vinny won't track back. Don't be surprised if we see something like this happen. Boom, boom, boom,
Right.
boom, boom. Mahrez comes inside onto his left foot, creates a 2v1 in there. And then you have, but yeah, an overlapping run
And
from
then
Carl Walker. So,
Rodrigo and Gundogan on the pullback as well. Yeah. I
you know,
I do look at though, the wing, the out wide positions for Man City, and it does feel like a little bit of a whitewash though. I mean, that situation you just brought up, I totally agree with you. But Grealish against Carvajal, like, do I see Grealish getting the better of Carvajal? Maybe not. I mean, he might win a couple of fouls, but again, that's not really beating somebody one on one. Same with Mahrez and Bernardo Silva against Camavinga. It's just a bit of a whitewash unless you can create that overload like you just explained.
another thing that Jack we have to mention. Let's just say if Kevin De Bruyne isn't fit. Let's just take it in. Kevin De
God,
Bruyne is fit.
makes it a different game, man.
Does Guardiola go and bring in this guy, Julian Alvarez, Jack, into the fold?
Do you not think that would be an easy Foden and then bring Bernardo Silva into where De Bruyne
But
plays?
Jack, every time, every time he's been on the football field for Manchester City, Jack, the effect has been there.
Right,
And in like to me, playing against the two, Jack, the two centre backs really want to go against the two. Jack, let's be honest, an unsettled two in Alaba and Rudiger,
Rudiger. Yeah,
you know. Do they like let's be honest, Alaba's been struggling with injuries. Rudiger's had a good season, but has been in and out sometimes, struggle sometimes. Do they want to go against the two in there? That's the only thing I would say from a point of view. Let's say if a Kevin De Bruyne isn't fit, but if Kevin De Bruyne is fit, again, I do see Kevin De Bruyne. Um,
I
I
do
do
you
see
not
Kevin De Bruyne definitely starting.
do you not always get this feeling though that like it's Pep and you and I can break this down as much as we want, but we don't know what he's going to do.
Jack. That is the biggest thing. What is he going to do? Because Jack, we've seen against Arsenal, he was able to start off, let's say, with the goalkeeper, yeah, play long into a player like Haaland and get runners off him, and especially his man Kevin, and especially his man Kevin De Bruyne playing in there. Could they go long? It could be Jack. It could be an option for them. I listen. I'm sitting here right now, guys, trying to break down for you. I don't know what Pep Guardiola is going to do.
No,
I really, really don't. He's capable of so many different things. My only thing is for me with Guardiola is that what he's done all year, I don't think there's much needs to be changed, Jack. I think what to me what we've seen against Bayern Munich, think about it, what we've seen against Arsenal, that should be it. Mix to me, change it up, mix it up. Sometimes you might want to play into Holland, which, to be fair to Manchester City, we mentioned the fact of they don't play into Holland recently, Jack. The ball has been playing into Holland. Holland's shown that he has the ability, Jack, to hold it and bring players into play, rather
all
that's a
done.
Gundogan or Bernardo Silva, or even getting or like for even getting out wide for a
Yeah.
Grealish, for a Bernardo Silva to put crosses into the box, Jack.
I just, I think Benzema's going to do something. I think Vinicius Junior is going to do something. I'm not going to be the one to doubt this Real Madrid team, but James, it's Erling Haaland's world. We're just living in it, right? That's what it feels like this year.
Do you know what it is? My biggest thing is this: is that he is going
I
to
don't
have,
look
in
at.
my eyes, Jack, he's going to have arguably his hardest matchup this year, because you know how he is. He's big, he's strong, he's nasty, this and that. Who is one of the biggest shithouseries of defenders that that like we've seen in world football. Who is it? It's Rudiger.
Yeah,
In Rudiger, I've seen Rudiger be able to take out and disturb some of the best strikers out there. Funny, you take him off his game, give him a pinch, give him a, they're able to outrun him. Jack, as quick as Haaland is, Rudiger can go with the fastest, you know. So that matchup there is going to be interesting because Jack, you mentioned, oh, who is it? Like, think about it, who is going to step up between Alaba and Rudiger? It's going to be Rudiger, the one
Rudiger. Yeah,
like
no
stepping up
doubt.
like into Haaland and trying to get him off his game. So this matchup here, Jack, that's going to be so um that to me is going to be so interesting. But
I just think if he's got the space and he's got that midfield playing passes to him, even Bernardo Silva out wide as well. John Stones can split the lines as well.
mhm,
He's an animal, and you give him room. And again, we saw it perfectly in that Arsenal game, didn't we? He
mhm,
should have probably scored 4 or 5 goals, but he's not
easily,
really a natural finisher. But he gets himself in those positions so often that the numbers just, you know,
Jack. And another thing I'm going to add here to you. During that Bayern Munich game, it wasn't a Manchester City complete outclassed Bayern Munich. No, I felt the biggest thing between Bayern Munich and City was the fact of there was a number nine there. There was a clinical finish, and Bayern lacked that number nine who could put the ball into the back of net. If
not
you give it,
Choupo-Moting.
it's definitely not Choupo-Moting. If you give this Real Madrid side, there is a number nine out there, and there is a number nine that is possibly not possibly. He's a Ballon d'Or. He's a Ballon d'Or. He's a reigning Ballon d'Or winner, the best striker in the world for me, Kareem Benzema there. But Man City did give away chances. And if there's chances in this game for Real Madrid and the ball falls to Kareem the Dream,
He'll take it. Yeah.
that is so it may come down to Jack, as you say, these two men up front, Haaland and Kareem Benzema, which is to me what a battle. What a battle that is going to be. Seeing those two go at it is going to be something is it like is in my opinion is going to be something else. Now, Jack, hate to push you on this right now.
You
We've
know where
we
I'm going here.
listen. We spoke about it. We've broken it down. We've looked at where the game could be won and lost for both teams. Jack, who is going through?
I've learned my lesson. I'm not picking against Real Madrid until they give me a reason not to. Seriously. And again, Haaland could score a hat trick and De Bruyne could get 3 assists, and I could say, "Oh, I knew it, I knew it." But James, like, it's Real Madrid and it's the Champions League. I'm not gonna start second guessing myself now. There's a tried and true formula to this, and I'm gonna stick to it. But James, this is the best chance Man City have ever had to finally get their hands on that trophy. You know, I'm not saying they won't next year because they'll come back stronger. But James, if they get to a final, it's going to be the easiest final that you could possibly ever have in the Champions League. So I'm taking Real Madrid here, but Man City is one hell of an opportunity.
um, so I had to bet against a team who just understands it. That's the way I'll put Real Madrid. They just know how to get it done. Like how to get it done. They know when to play, they know when to suffer, they know when to sit back, they know when to relax and keep possession. They get it. That's who Real Madrid is. These two-legged, think about it, these two-legged 180-minute ties, they mastered it better than any other team. And a lot and a few of these guys there came from the Trevorrow point of view of Benzema, Modric, Cruz, and also Carvajal there too. But it comes a point when you constantly bang and bang and bang and bang and bang on that door that someone's gonna answer or that door is gonna fall down. And
Oh,
Manchester City, year after year after year, are constantly doing that. They're constantly asking the question. They're constantly banging at the door. Oh, what do we have to do? And granted, Jack, they go through failures, just like Chelsea did trying to get to their first Champions League. And people remember the stress that Chelsea had to get that first one was crazy. Manchester City have been through the heartache last year. You talk about heartaches. That's as bad as losing the final. The way they lost that. Think about the way they lost that second leg. They have added an equalizer that not too many people can counter, and that is Erling Haaland. But overall, Jack, yes, Erling Haaland has brought something big to his Manchester City team. Oh, 50 goals this year, incredible. But this team remembers. This team understands. And I like the thing with Pep Guardiola. He learned his lesson. He's seen the things that Manchester City lacked last year, and he's rectified it. Yes, granted, throughout the season, people weren't sure about this Manchester City team. I wasn't sure about this Manchester City team, but it's crunch time. And this team during crunch time has been able to perform. And I like to think at this moment of time that they have so much belief in the league, in all the cups, that they can go on to do it all and win the treble. So I like to think that Manchester City are going to go on to beat Real Madrid and make it to the Champions League final. Now, if will I win the final? We can have that discussion probably. But
Well, and I want to, and this is the final thing I want to ask you. First of all, have Real Madrid won a cup this year?
they're in the Spanish Super Cup. They're in the
Spanish
Copa del
Super
Rey.
Cup final, but
Yeah.
they're not winning the league, right?
No, looks Barcelona are a good bit ahead.
And like you have to think about it, right? This Man City team, right? And I know this has kind of come in the final, but it could be like looking good for the league, favourites going into an FA Cup final, right? All these positive things could be coming at once. And James, when that confidence starts, even if you're playing Real Madrid, if you're winning the Premier League, you're beating your derby rivals in a cup final, like they might just steamroll their way through. They've started playing really, really good football at the most important time, this Man City team. Again, I don't hate your pick at all. Again, this for me is this is the final, and we get to see it twice.
But guys, we've broken it down. We've given our predictions. But let us know what you think, guys. Who's gonna go through? Where can the game be won and lost between Man City and Real Madrid? Comment down below. Real Madrid fans, I want to hear from you. City fans, I want to hear from you. Football fans, I want to hear from you. What a tie we have. Can't wait for it. Guys, like, share, and subscribe. This is Box to Box Football, Jack and James, and we will see you next time.